Join us for a review of the VW T-Roc convertible. Let's go! Here in the front now we can see there's this honeycomb structure in the front and also in the lower front. Interesting silver contrast. The LED daytime running lights are right here. The lower part is a beautiful way. Also full LED headlamps are available for the main headlamp unit. The length is at 4.27 meters, 14 foot or 168 inches. So 4 centimeters or 1.5 inches longer wheelbase than the coupe of the T-Roc. They do that because they have the convertible roof stored right here, and then of course the space for the rear passengers should not be that limited, so they put the wheelbase a little bit longer. That's nowadays possible with these platform concepts vehicles. So you can see here a Thomas blue color here, very beautiful and fitting, of course, would be my favorite color. They don't call it Thomas blue, sadly. But you see at the moment closed top, we will soon open it for you. Black roof here and 17-inch wheels, 18 and 19 are also available. They look sportier than here, also with winter tires. They give you more comfort, however. And now opening and closing. It works up to a speed of 30 kilometers an hour. We'll soon also test that in real road driving, of course, for you. And opening is about just under 9 seconds. Please compare it in the time code below. And closing should be a little bit slower, but again, we can check the original time codes now when we do the live test. This will be very interesting, so frequent subscribers can also put the opening and closing time right there in the comments. And then there's also this button here to lower or close all windows at the very same time. And now to the rear here with the LED signature. There's also the separate wing here to make it a little bit sportier looking. And the lower part, actually, yeah, you have this fake exhaust graphic. I think we could have lived without that. Real exhaust is then underneath. As for engines, there's not so much choice as for the normal coupe version. Here you either have a 1-liter 3-cylinder turbo engine with 115 horsepower and a 6-speed manual, or this one here today, the 1.5-liter turbo engine with 150 horsepower, either also the manual gearbox, or today here also 7-speed DSG and all front-wheel drive. Interior now really interesting with the blue deco elements. Sadly, this is then hardpack here in the top part. That's the only thing to criticize. Compact steering wheel, digital instruments, soon more deals to that. So getting inside here is of course fairly easy, and this is the cool thing about this vehicle. You have an SUV convertible, you have a more upright seating position, the seating position itself is very comfortable, and you have a better round view. So I think already from the seating position, it shows you that this concept here of combining compact SUV with convertible does somehow make sense if you want a soft, comfortable driving experience with the convertible. Taking a look at the interior here, we have the corresponding blue interior styling here to the exterior color. You can also get different deco elements if that's not your thing. Steering wheel quite compact, good to control. You can also adjust it in, out and up and down like this, manual control. Sadly here, top part is hardpack, also inside of the doors. That should be better even at this price point, even if we're not in a super premium segment. Steering wheel here, left side for the adaptive cruise control and controlling the volume. Right side to change the views in the digital instruments or to skip the next track in the music player. And here we are with the digital instruments, a clear view, and you can also change the views, for example, that you have a little bit more space depending on what you want to have. There we go, also other contents in the middle and so on. So this is all possible. It's actually quite easy to use. Close up here on the lower climate unit, easy to control, good to have the normal knobs here, and then here for the steering wheel heating and the seat heating, both at the same button. They can control what you want to do with it in the screen. Here then for the vent strength and so on. actually pretty easy and straightforward to use. And this is here the mode button for the DCC, for the adaptive suspension. Here it goes in the screen. Either when you have the DCC, then you can pick the driving modes, suspension will get stiffer, steering will give you a little more feedback and so on. And then when you have here an activate or deactivate the steering wheel heating, yeah, there we go. That's possible, and all the levels of the seat heating, but it's also able to do that with a button in the lower part. So you can and also decide if you want to have just one thing, activated at the same time or both at the same time. Now the infotainment up close also has this gesture function here for the main menu, but not sure if it's really that helpful actually. GPS looks like this. So you have this, let's say, shortcut from the last destinations you've picked, and then you can just click them. And then let's also take a look at the normal map, zoom in and out. Works quite quickly. Also, you can do that here with this zoom knob. This is also quite handy while driving actually. So pretty clear, crisp, and also straightforward. What about the app view? This is the Apple CarPlay, also available in a wireless function. Other than that, Android Auto also available. Uses all of the screen. Lower part, two USB-C chargers and also inductive charging platform. That can make sense because the Apple CarPlay is also available wirelessly. Well, you flip the seat here, then you can push it forward and can get in easy. That's of course a little bit simpler when you have the roof opened. And I mean, when I would be driving like this, I do not exactly fit, but it would work with 3 tall adults when the co-driver seat is pushed a little bit more to the front. And here, when I'm driving, if I would be sitting a little bit closer to the steering wheel, so you see, you have some possibilities, yes, not thought out to be, for 4 tall adults all the time, long trip, but for shorter trips, it's still somewhat okay. Isofix on the outside, that's possible, and we'll be also able to flip the seats then from the rear. Well, what about the trunk? You flip the logo, and then you have already bigger than with the Range Rover Evoque convertible, and the length here would be 84 centimeters, the lower length just 75, and the width right here is normally just about a meter, and the height here, total height, is about 55 centimeters. So it's all fine. You just have this, massive loading sill. Below this cover, you have exact storage for the wind deflector. The advantage of this is, of the DSG here in comparison to the manual gearbox, it's just so relaxing to drive indeed, and very smoothly shifting up and down the gears, really cool. And especially when you are stuck in traffic situations and so on, I would go for that. I mean, you're also okay, of course, with the manual gearbox if you want to save some money, but automatic transmission is, of course, always more relaxing. I would also go for it. This is a relaxing convertible, and the thing is, I can already say right now, the concept of combining this compact SUV with convertible, with being a cabriolet, it's really awesome. So, yes, a sporty convertible does look better from the outside, no doubt about that. But I mean, at the moment here, even if it's raining, it's not a pleasant day at all. It's dark, it's rainy, we have about 8.5 degrees Celsius, but still I'm totally enjoying this ride, and it's comfortable, so I have more light than I would usually have in a closed vehicle. I can still drive with the open top when it's not raining too hard. That still works. You see, staying relatively dry. And the thing is, I'm sitting a little bit higher than I would be sitting in a sports convertible. It's more comfortable, I have more view, I can enjoy nature a little bit more, all the impressions you get from the outside here when you're driving along. The option DCC, which is built in here, so you can get the base suspension and the sport suspension, both fixed, or the DCC, the dynamic chassis control, which is the adaptive suspension. It's doing a phenomenal job, so I can leave it here in the normal driving mode and have a lot of comfort. All the bumps are even out very well. Also being leaving convertible aspect aside, recently had the Kia X seat review. I still have that vehicle at the moment as a comparison. So X seat and T-Roc in general are, of course, competitors. The X seat is a very, very good car, as we recently presented to you. and has a lot of strength. For example, better in the X seat, we have soft touch at the inside of the doors. Yet again, for example, suspension-wise, that's also what I mentioned earlier, the T-Roc is better with this DCC, because here you can get an adaptive suspension, and then it's just evening out the potholes better, and at the same time it's more dynamic, and of course you can pick the different driving modes and then just pick your suspension behavior. So suspension-wise, this one here among the best in the compact segment overall. So I'm going to the sports mode now, also for some acceleration. Rain is picking up just a little bit now. The camera is still dry. So now we're going open top, 50 kilometers, sports mode to, I think we can go to 80 here. Let's go. Plop, that was it was already 87. So you see that went quick enough. This turbo gives me enough boost, and here at about 80 kilometers an hour I can very well cruise with the open top. So that's no problem at all. I think when this construction site here is over, I can also go to 100, and then we can find out if this cruising speed would be okay as well. What we also have here is the ACC. I can activate it here on the steering wheel. That's the adaptive cruise control, setting the speed here with my left thumb, and then the speed is also adapted to the vehicle in front of me. So getting off here, also at higher speeds, the car is very stable to control. This car offers a very neutral and balanced handling. So let's close the top right here. Yeah, that works also with the camera. And it's, quite quickly. So I think closing was a little bit slower than opening it was. I could also roll during that, so it's not really needed. I need to stand still. Now at 100 kilometers an hour or 60 miles an hour with closed top. And again, there are the raindrops you maybe also hear now on the recording on the camera. But this roof has a very good insulation, multiple insulation layers. And it's really very silent in here. That's pretty cool. So if that would be any concern to you, not going for the coupe, I think that's absolutely fine. And now to our conclusion for today with the Volkswagen T-Roc Cabriolet. Does this concept work? Yes, and totally. Really surprised. It does make a lot of sense, because not everyone wants to go for a sporty convertible. Yes, sporty driving is fun, and this one still offers some agile driving feeling, because it's a very neutral handling, a very good platform. It's not too heavy as for the weight, but it just delivers you more comfort with this upright seating position, and it's just so much fun to drive, sitting a little bit more upright. You can enjoy more of the nature impressions and so on. To me, it totally makes sense actually for more convertible fans than actually it would be for the sporty driving, I think. Well, having both is of course pretty cool, maybe like with the MX-5 Miata and T-Roc convertible in the garage, if you can afford that. But again, this is also a good point. Hardly any more non-premium convertibles on the market. So, Audi, Mercedes, BMW offer a lot, but everyone else, hardly any left on the market. So it's very good to have this new offering then here on the market. Exterior, it looks kind of fresh, not too different from the coupe version. Yes, of course, it doesn't look the sportiest and the coolest if you compare it to a very sporty convertible. That's clear. 17-inch wheels here, by the way, today is very good for comfortable riding, and it was a very comfortable ride. Not too soft or something, but the DCC, the adaptive suspension, did a great job. And interior-wise, we see a very good build quality, and everything is rather straightforward and easy to use. Yeah, with the exception that we could have wished for some soft touch material here at the inside of the doors. It's not, processed in a bad way, but just that there would be soft touch material. I think we can expect it also here from this price. Yeah, they want to keep the price low a little bit, but I think this is something still that Volkswagen should actually have or offer. Other than that, I think it's a very good and functional interior, and also very comfortable as for the seats. So actually I would pick the car exactly as we have it here at the moment. Also with the 1.5 TSI, there were no stuttering problems or whatsoever here in combination with the DSG gearbox, and the power is really sufficient and already there. Of course, very relaxing with the automatic gearbox to have. You could go for the smaller engine if you want to save some money. And then sometimes you have to push it a little bit more, especially when you go some like overtaking maneuvers on the motorway and so on. But if you have a little bit more budget over, then the 1.5 TSI will be a little bit more calm to drive. And you can drive it open top all the time. Yeah, even though also when it's raining, at least when it's not too harsh in the rain, and even 100 kilometers open top is no problem, especially when you have this big wind deflector mounted right there. So overall, I think a really awesome vehicle. I just love the concept. It stands for a lot of driving fun and just like some automotive enjoyment. By the way, a fuel economy figure, a realistic one would be 7 liters on 1 kilometers, 34 mpg US. Or about 41 mpg UK. So, what do you think, guys? Tell me your comments about the VW T-Roc convertible, and also see you next time.